Thrilled to have you here, Joe Exotic. We are going to kick it over to Destiny for his opening statement. Thanks for being with us. The floor is all yours, Stephen, for that opening statement.
Hey, yeah, real simply, I support Biden over, I guess I would say I support Kamala. I support the Kamala ticket over Trump because I don't think Trump was able to get anything done. Even if I supported Trump's policies, I think that he was an ineffective leader. I think he's a bad business guy. He wasn't able to do any of the things that he promised he could deliver on. And under the Biden-Kamala administration, they've delivered on things that Trump literally said he would deliver on. They got an infrastructure bill passed. They've done a better job at kind of like uniting Americans and working in Congress to pass legislation. And they've had way more accountability for their decisions than Trump, who is a loser and blames everybody else for his problems all the time, constantly, and doesn't take responsibility or accountability for anything.
Thank you very much for that opening, Stephen. We will kick it over to Joe Exotic. Thanks for being with us, Tiger King. The floor is all yours for your 2-minute opening as well.
Well, if anybody knows me, I hate politics, period, because they're all fucking liars. So, unfortunately, I'm supporting Trump right now because Biden and Harris has had the same as Trump had. They've been in there almost 4 years now, and they've done nothing to help people be able to pay rent, pay groceries, pay gas prices. All they want to do is lie. Okay, now Harris is for fracking. For the last 4 years, we've done nothing but EV sales, put in chargers, spend billions of dollars doing that. We're not drilling to produce our own oil and sustain our own country with our own energy, but for what, a climate deal. And now Biden is putting windmills out in the ocean, which is our most fragile ecosystem on the planet. And then him and Harris are giving 10, 20-year leases to the animal rights and the tree huggers for BLM land. So now the forests are not going to be harvested right. Your cattle ranchers aren't going to be able to use BLM land for grazing and raising agriculture. So nothing really makes sense, not to mention neither one of them give a damn about what's going on at the border. And it's not just the southern border. We just had, 1 million fentanyl pills caught at the Canadian border. But the only one that people want to complain about is the southern border because that's where the Mexicans are all coming in. But, you know, when we have homeless vets living on the streets and we're giving hotel rooms in New York City to immigrants that are coming into the country illegally and through Biden and Harris's policies right now, America needs to change. You know, Trump is going to keep us safe from our world enemies. All we've done under Biden and Harris is trade dangerous criminals for basketball players and ballerinas and give away billions and billions of dollars to fight foreign wars. Not to mention $6 billion to release some more prisoners that we had of someone else's. So no, America is not safe under Harris at all. I don't think she's tough enough to stand up to Russia, China, or anyone else. And you got to think more about you got to get your head out of the abortion center, okay? Because
you got about 15 seconds left.
Everybody's going to die, all right? If we end up in World War III, and Harris is just not tough enough to do it. So there you have it.
Thank you very much for that opening. We will kick it into open dialogue. Thanks, gentlemen. The floor is all yours.
Yeah, I guess I feel like the biggest issue is like Trump had 4 years and Trump just complained about everything. He said that the people that he hired didn't do work for him. Everybody that's worked with him has said that he's, a loser. He's got a different vice president now because he doesn't like the last one. Like, I feel like when a guy is surrounded by that many people saying, I don't support this guy, it seems like he does a bad job. I feel like, why would I trust this guy for another 4 years?
Okay, well, he was in there for 4 years, but when did the Democrats give him a piece of quiet so he could do his damn job? What, they impeached him twice, and that wasn't good enough? That's just like the situation I'm in. Hell, I left and gave them my zoo, and they still came after me and indicted me with 21 charges. They indicted him with 94 charges to what? Prove a point?
That's
all crap.
Part of being a leader.
If you want somebody to do a job, leave them in there and let them do their damn job. They're already planning. They already have blueprints of how they're going to invoke the 14th Amendment to kick him out if he wins. let the American people decide, not the politicians in Congress decide for us. If the American people want to vote him back in and let him do his damn job. Sit in his chair and shut up.
I mean, we voted in Obama, and McConnell and the Republicans didn't let us have another liberal Supreme Court justice. So it seems like everybody in Congress does this. It's just part of being the president. It's part of working our political system. And Trump seems to be unable to work the political system. When you're the president, people are going to attack you. That's part of being the president. If anybody should understand that, you'd think it would be Donald Trump, right?
No, nobody's going to work with the political system. That's why it needs to be handed back to the people. Okay. First of all, a federal judge should be elected every 4 years. For God's sake, if the American president has to be elected every 4 years, why the hell are we giving a judge a lifetime commitment?
Well, because we don't want judges running for re-election. We don't want a judge making a decision because they're trying to win a re-election. We want the judges making decisions based on law, right?
You're not getting that either way. You're getting a judge that's making a decision whether he's a Democrat or a Republican. Okay, I'm sitting in prison, and I know this. Okay, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Okay, everybody that got sentenced by a Democrat judge, especially sex offenders, are doing 4 years. Everybody that got sentenced by a Republican judge is doing 20 to 30 for a fucking 8-ball of meth.
Well, I mean, don't do drugs in states that are Republican run, I guess. I mean, what do you want to do? I mean, different states. I mean, a lot of the elections for these people are done on your public ballots for your state elections. I mean, that's up to the people to vote for it. You can live in the state that you want. I mean, this is what you guys want when you talk about having the people decide, right? Weak federal government, strong state governments. Every state will do things a little bit differently. And regardless of how a judge sentences you, it's a jury at the end of the day of your peers that convicts you for the crime. So.
No, it's not. You don't even know your own system. It's not the jury at the end of the day that decides your system. You're sentenced in a federal court.
I didn't say that it's not your sentence. I said they convict you of the crime. They convict you of the crime.
Okay. Well, the prosecutors are just as corrupt as the judges and the FBI. Okay.
Okay. Well, if they're all corrupt, why vote any day? They just don't vote. Who cares then? Why vote at all?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, true. I agree. I wouldn't vote.
Because whoever I vote for, you're not going to like, and you're going to do everything you can to disrupt his election. And I'm going to do everything I can to disrupt your election. So what's it matter?
True. I think if you support true freedom and giving the government back to the people, we should protest the election or just not vote or write in somebody or vote RFK.
Why the hell do you think I ran for? Why do you think I ran as a write-in candidate to take that stand? And what have you done?
Not that. Do you think people should write in if they, let's say they were going to support Trump then, because I mean, Trump's just part of the system and the FBI is all corrupt anyway. I think those people should just write in Joe Exotic instead. Should all write your name in. We should all vote for you.
Hey, that's the whole reason I've been campaigning for the last 2 years.
Okay. I get behind that.
Yeah, because it's just like the border. Okay. I could solve that border problem with one thing, and that is to vet them. Let them in, give them a non-citizen tax number, charge them $50 a month, just like the third world country Belize does. You can stay, you can work, you can be part of society, but you're going to pay your dues because my neighbor gave up 2 legs for this freedom. You're going to pay $50 a month.
Yeah, but don't Republicans call that amnesty? I don't think they'd be in favor of that.
Well, how could that be amnesty? You have to pay your part to get freedom. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think Democrats are probably okay with that. I don't think Republicans.
Did you have any family members in the war?
In which one? At Iraq or?
In any war, buddy.
Yeah, my grandpa, I think, did Vietnam.
Did he live?
He survived Vietnam. He died of lung cancer like 50 years later. But I mean,
did he have any friends die in Vietnam?
I'm not sure. He died when I was like 10. I haven't been able to ask him.
Korea.
Okay. Oh, I'm
all
sorry.
All of my dad's friends died in Korea. Do you think it's fair for all of them to die so some Nicaraguan can come live and reap the benefits for free?
I don't think that you fight in the military for immigration rules. I think there's a whole bunch of other things in our country that you fight.
You fight in the military, dumbass, for freedom. Okay? The American flag stands for freedom.
That's fine, but what you're talking about for immigration is a restriction. It's the opposite of freedom. Yeah, paying prices and having immigration rules are the opposite of freedom. So you're fighting for something more than just freedom. I agree we should have rules and restrictions around immigration. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying the idea of like having people here who are here illegally pay $50 a month to stay here or whatever, I think most Republicans would be opposed for that. They call that amnesty. I think the Democrats would be more likely to support that than the Republicans would.
How do you feel about your neighbor having a farm and not being able to sell milk to his neighbor?
I don't know all the different land and FDA restrictions on that, but I mean, I imagine there's probably reasons why random people can't sell food to other random people for health reasons and stuff. But
Why?
what
Back
probably
in the 60s when I was born, our milk used to come in a glass container and sit on the porch for 4 hours before we even got up. What has changed? Other than politics.
250, 300 years ago,
money.
people used to drink mercury when they thought they were sick. I don't know how I'm supposed to respond to that. My guess is going to be on the aggregate. Milk is probably safer now when people drink it than it probably was when people drank milk out of random cows 60, 70 years ago. That'd be my guess.
So Harris wants to set prices on groceries.
Mhm.
So a bag of chips is only $5. You realize how many businesses that's going to put out of business?
I don't think that Harris is going to be able to set prices. I don't think that's going to happen. And Donald Trump wanted to put a
Okay,
20% tariff on every single country. I don't think that's going to happen. That would be insane too. That's what Donald Trump wants to do. Donald Trump's got a higher chance of doing that than Harris does because I think Trump could do that by executive order.
Harris is just not presidential quality, period. Okay. It's not that she's a woman. It's not that she's not black enough. Okay. The only reason anybody's getting behind her right now is because she claims she's black. She's a woman. The Democrats want the first woman to become president and be colored. Everything about Biden and Harris has been about putting black people in the Supreme Court. Oh, we're the first one to put a black person in the Supreme Court. Let me tell you something. The Democrats are so out of control. Okay, the federal government and the prison system will pay $200,000 to cut a penis off of a man and turn him into a woman, but I can't get ketchup on my fries on Wednesdays. Okay, that's how fucked up the Democrats have this. We have women waiting to have penises. We have women waiting to have penises put on in the same prison using the same showers as the men waiting to have theirs cut off.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty niche issue that I don't think the average person cares about that much at all. Number one. And number two, about all these important issues, Donald Trump didn't do anything about it. Donald Trump had 4 years to do anything. He didn't do anything. Even when he had both Republicans in all the Congress, Republicans on the Supreme Court.
It's because he spent half his time in court fighting the Democrats.
He's got lawyers. He's a billionaire. He's the president. What do you mean? He's got other people to fight those battles for him. That's part of being the president. They're trying to impeach Biden right now. Yeah, that's what happens when you're the president.
Whatever. Let's just for every month during June of every year, let's just turn the White House rainbow color and have drag shows and make y'all happy.
Okay.
As an openly gay man, that's disgusting. It should be the American flag, and it should represent the American people. It shouldn't have 1 month the gay flag and all the pillars gay rainbow. It shouldn't have 1 month Black Lives Matter. Where does it stop?
I don't know. I mean, I'd rather the different colored lights outside the White House than 1 month of playing The Apprentice where Donald Trump fires another cabinet member or fires another close advisor or fires somebody else because they wouldn't, follow him on some crazy cockamamie scheme or some crazy
to fire somebody.
Yeah. It didn't seem to help Trump very much. No.
It doesn't seem to help Biden other than figuring out how to get more money in his bank account.
Well, I mean, even if that was the case, at least Biden made money. He didn't lose money like Trump did. Sounds like a good leader and a good businessman.
Yeah. Stealing it from the American people.
I do want to just redirect that.
My grandmother put in Social Security. My grandmother put in Social Security for 70 years, so the federal government could cut her Social Security. If that happened, if that was me or you taking my grandmother's money, we'd be in jail. Okay, but Biden can take $5 million from Ukraine as a bribe, and that's why we're handing Ukraine $114 billion so they don't out him.
Just focusing on Kamala and Trump, I do want to just redirect us because though I understand how Biden's relevant, that he's the actual president while she's the VP for him, I do want to just direct us more towards this upcoming election per se.
Yeah, I mean, Trump had 4 years. He couldn't pass any legislation. He blamed everybody else for everything that happened. Everybody around the world.
How do you pass legislation when the House is Republican and the Senate is Democrat? How are you ever going to pass any legislation?
He had a House and Senate that were both Republican. He couldn't pass anything because he was a loser. Nobody liked him. He couldn't work with anybody.
you're blaming the president when the president doesn't even have that power. You need to be blaming your senators and your congressmen.
Well, how is Biden able to do it how is Biden able to do it with a divided Senate?
They're the ones that don't vote anything in.
Okay, well, that as part of being the president, you're supposed to help your party. You know, you cheerlead them through legislation. You work with people. You talk with people. You're the leader. That's the whole point.
Can you get your neighbors to get along?
I'm not their president.
Look, if you're the president of the homeowners association, can you get all your homeowners to get along?
You better believe that the people that are the leaders of these things have to get everybody to agree on things. Yeah, that's what they have to. They have to agree on things.
It's the president's job to make them get along. Are they fucking 5-year-olds?
No, but they're representing different constituents with different desires, different hopes and dreams and fears, and that's part of your
voters' people to make sure they get along or vote their asses out.
All right. Well, in that case, it doesn't matter who's president anyway. So why would you support Trump over anybody else if it doesn't matter? Well, okay, I agree.
You think I'm running to write in?
Exactly. We should write you in.
Anyway, I'm out of time, guys. This has been fun, but it's just like a typical debate. Nobody has an open mind to understand that the American people are the ones that have to change it. Okay, and we're not going to change it by electing in Kamala Harris or Trump. Okay, we got to get somebody that's not a billionaire that was born with a silver spoon in their mouth, or a prosecutor, an ex-prosecutor, or an ex. We need a farmer or somebody from the streets that knows how hard it is to pay bills and knows what's going on out here. And
yeah, I think we should. I think we could have a leader that knows how to navigate the political system and get politically effective things done. I think that Harris and Biden have shown they're able to do that. Trump has shown that he's not able to do that. He can barely run his businesses. So,
well, he became a billionaire, didn't he? Is Harris a billionaire?
Yeah, I mean, his dad was rich. I don't think it's that impressive.
I mean, his dad might have been rich, but his dad wasn't as rich as Trump is now.
Didn't his dad? His dad ended up passing off like $430 million off to his children afterwards. I think Trump probably would have been wealthy if he just invested his money and did nothing with it. What did he declare bankruptcy on? 11 different businesses. He had casinos going broke in Atlantic City. This guy's not a good businessman. If it wasn't for The Apprentice, I don't know if he would have any money at all left. Geez.
Harris will never get my support because she politically co-sponsored the very bill that put me in prison for an agenda to make an illegal monopoly. Okay, you cannot pass a law to make a nonprofit be the only one to make money, and that's exactly what she's done. So in my eyes, she's a criminal, and the American people need to really consider what she has done to the black people that she put in prison, how long they've been in prison. Do you realize that a monkey in this country has more rights in a cage than a human being does in prison?
I don't know exactly what we mean by that, but
it means that the justice system, that her and Biden stood on that stage at that drive-in movie theater during COVID and promised prison and justice reform, was just another lie because they ain't done shit.
How many appeals did you file for your current case?
I'm on my fourth one.
How many appeals do you think the average monkey files to get out of his prison?
He has PETA behind him. He has the Humane Society of the United States behind him. Yeah, he's got more money than any prisoner does.
I want to give Joe the last word because he's our special guest. First time on. Thanks for being with us, Joe. I think that if my timing is right, you might have to leave. If you have more time, we'd be happy to have you, but I do want to otherwise wrap up and at least get to say thank you.
Yeah, again, is Trump or Harris, either one of us, done good for this country right now? No. You can watch CNN, you can watch Fox, you can blame it on whoever you want to blame it on. Okay, but it boils down to the American public are the ones that have to change the system. And you got to start throwing some of these crooked bastards out of the system. Okay, just like Senator Mendez, Gold Bar Mendez. Okay, they're all corrupt. They're all in it for themselves. They don't give a shit about you. Okay, but Harris is not strong enough to keep us safe from China, Russia, and Iran. She's a thing. Okay? You can have all the gay rights, you can have all the women rights, you can have all the rights you want. But when that nuke or another 9/11 happens, don't blame nobody but your voting self for putting a weak person in office to run this country.
Wow. All right.
My guess is you might have to go. If you have time, Joe, do you have any extra time? We could keep going, but if you do have to go, I don't want to hold you. I think that we have lost Joe, but we do want to say thank you very much, Joe, for making the time. It has been a true pleasure. Thank you to Stephen as well. It has been a true pleasure, folks. Do check out the links of our guests in the description box. Both Stephen and Joe are linked in the description box. We do appreciate both of them. And I want to say thanks so much for tuning in for this mini debate. We will see you with the next one. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button as we are setting up other debates, especially for this upcoming election season. One last thank you to Joe and Stephen. Thanks for being with us today.